In the mountainous region of Sora City, Mitsurugi, heir to his family's legacy, practiced his swordsmanship with unshakable determination. As he swung his sword, he reflected on a feeling that had been with him since childhood, a sense that something powerful lay dormant within him, waiting to awaken. Blessed to be born into a noble family, Mitsurugi had trained under excellent teachers. Though his mother had passed away, everyone had treated him well, and now he was engaged to a kind fiancée. He believed that one day, his hidden power would emerge, and he would inherit the family's phantom blade style. He imagined himself as the guardian of the demon gate, protecting the world from evil. He never doubted the bright future that awaited him. But during the ceremonial trial, Mitsurugi's sword slipped from his grasp and fell to the ground. He had just failed the trial and was disowned by his father, who exiled him from their city with a cold expression, saying there was no place for someone as weak as him in their clan, which had sealed demons for 300 years. Mitsurugi was quickly replaced as the family heir. His engagement was broken off, and the only person who saw him off was his master, who wished him well. Hardened by his difficult childhood, Sora recalled losing everything at the age of 13. He vowed that one day, he would return to his homeland. 5 years later, in the kingdom of Canaria, in the city of Ashak, Sora was shocked to hear that his qualifications as an adventurer were being revoked. Stunned, he listened as the guild receptionist, Lydell, earnestly repeated the news. Seeing his confusion, Lydell reassured him that it was no joke and confirmed that it was an official decision approved by the guild master. She showed him the notification letter as proof. Reading the letter, Sora saw the guild master's seal and was dismayed. He reflected on just having completed his daily herb-picking quest and wondered if he had made a mistake. He asked the receptionist if there might be an error in the decision, but she pointed out that he had not been promoted in the last 3 years, which warranted his dismissal from the guild. Sora was stunned. It had been 3 years since his demotion, and he hadn't advanced past level 10, fulfilling all the requirements for dismissal. He admitted he didn't know about this condition, and told the receptionist she could have warned him earlier to prevent this outcome. Lydell, annoyed, refused his plea, stating the rules were clearly written in the guild's guidelines, implying it was Sora's fault for not reading them. As he tried to defend his case further, she looked at him with anger and disgust, eager to get rid of him quickly. She added that the guild favored adventurers because the city needed their help to fight monster threats. As long as someone was a guild member, it was their duty to serve and protect Ishka. Sora knew this, which is why he moved to Ishka, planning to protect its people from monsters and make a name for himself. He vowed to show everyone that he was valuable and could build a reputation beyond his birthplace. But now, that dream seemed far from reality. Lydell scolded him, saying it was his fault for not advancing in the last 3 years. After all, becoming a rank 9 adventurer wasn't hard. Sora argued that the level 9 test required a silver coin, which was a lot for him. In disbelief, the receptionist asked why he couldn't earn that amount in 3 years with all the privileges of an adventurer. Finally, she told him he was officially dismissed from his position as an adventurer, crushing Sora. He tried to plead his case one last time, but she dismissed him coldly. Devastated, Sora sat near a fountain, recalling how the receptionist used to give him rewards after his quests, making him feel welcome. Now, as he was no longer an adventurer, he had no privileges like an extra room. His adventurer ID card was taken back, marking him as a wandering adventurer. He considered working as a city waste cleaner to make a living, but worried that committing to such a job would prevent him from becoming stronger and gaining fame as he desired. He used to collect herbs for the guild, risking his life outside the city, hoping to help someone in need of rescue from monsters. Reflecting on his situation, he realized it wasn't different from when he was exiled from his hometown 5 years ago. Once again, he had nowhere to go. He tried to comfort himself, thinking he could start over. However, he had poor relationships with other adventurers, who called him a parasite behind his back and laughed at him. He decided this had to be the beginning of his new journey, and he would level up to the next rank. He activated his status display and saw that his abilities hadn't changed at all. The rank shown was still the lowest, mocking him, saying he was still a weak child. Exiled from his island home, Sora finally decided to leave the city, recalling how he became an adventurer 5 years ago, hoping to get a job. A young Sora visited the Adventurers Guild, where an adventurer named Lars approached him and invited him to join his party. Lars shared that he became an adventurer to improve the living conditions in his impoverished village. As he spoke, a female adventurer interrupted, scolding Lars for abruptly approaching a stranger. She apologized to Sora, introducing herself as a warrior and childhood friend of Lars. Another girl, Muru, chimed in, scolding them both for arguing in front of Sora. Lastly, Luna, trying to calm the group, greeted Sora warmly. Sora introduced himself, and Lars remarked on how unique his name was. He invited Sora to join their party, the Falcon Swords. Though Sora found them to be a friendly and welcoming group, he remained cautious due to his past experiences with his own clan. Lars disagreed, recalling that he had seen Sora training at the guild arena and was impressed by his dedication and nearly perfect form. From that day, Sora became part of the Falcon Swords, hoping to start a new life with his new friends. However, no matter how many monsters he defeated or missions he completed, his rank never increased. He remembered the day when Lars finally reached level 6 and the team celebrated with him. Inspired, Sora decided to reveal his secret to the group, hoping they would still accept him. He gathered his courage and told them that despite all his efforts, his rank had never increased past level 1. He promised to work even harder to improve. But upon hearing this, the party members looked at him with disgust and disappointment, accusing him of betraying them and benefiting unfairly from their hard work. Muru called him a parasite, exploiting the party. In an instant, Sora was expelled from the group. Luna tried to explain that Sora might be under the influence of the talent limit phenomenon. She mentioned that even though he completed the same missions as everyone else, his level wouldn't increase. This theory stemmed from 300 years ago, when a swordsman sealed a demon and never surpassed rank 99. Luna pointed out that even legendary heroes had limits, just like ordinary people, varying only by their level of talent. Heartbroken, Sora realized his talent limit was the lowest. Luna tried to comfort him, suggesting he could find another path besides being an adventurer. With rumors spreading about him being a parasite, Sora struggled to join other parties. After leaving his party, Sora chose to undertake solo quests, remaining stuck at rank 10 with no desire to advance due to his financial constraints. One day, a group of thugs ambushed him and stole his bag. One thug taunted him, suggesting he was probably another useless adventurer expelled from the guild. As they rummaged through his backpack, one of them noted dismissively that it only contained a bunch of medicinal herbs. Sora pleaded for the return of his potion bottles, explaining that he intended to sell them. The thug, intrigued by the illegal nature of the herbs, proposed a partnership. He wanted Sora to gather more herbs from the forest, a task that had claimed the lives of many new recruits. Reluctantly, Sora agreed, never imagining he would stoop to such a shady deal. The harsh reality left him with no choice. Feeling broken and having abandoned his ideals, he kept telling himself that he had to do this to survive, convincing himself that he was still an adventurer who wanted to help others. In the mountains of Teddy's, Sora began his quest for herbs. After hours of foraging, he finally found some. As he inhaled their scent, he noted that it was the perfect time to harvest them. For a moment, he felt the joy of being an adventurer again. He entertained the idea of becoming an herb collector and opening his own shop, free from the guild's control. With the high demand for these herbs, he was confident his business would thrive. This new plan gave him a fresh start after being expelled from the guild. This positive thought lifted his spirits to the point where he felt genuinely happy about his situation. Suddenly, Muru appeared behind him and asked why he was in the forest. Sora turned to her, his face a mix of surprise and disgust. Muru demanded that he speak if he had something to say, mocking him for deceiving them for 6 months and calling him a parasite. At that moment, other members of the Falcon Swords arrived. Now quite renowned as a C-rank party, they stood out because there were no A-rank parties in Ishka and only 3 B-rank parties in the region. The C-rank level was filled with veterans, but the Falcon Swords had reached their rank in less than 5 years, making them a promising party. One member stepped forward, mentioning that he had heard about Sora's expulsion from the guild. He warned Sora to stop adventuring before his low rank put him in serious danger. Sora bitterly thanked him for his concern. ID berated him for being unambitious, regretting ever considering him a good man. Lars intervened, telling ID that Sora was no longer their concern, and that it would be his own fault if he died for ignoring their advice. Muru agreed, urging the group to leave, while expressing her disgust at being near Sora. Ellis tried to hurry them along, but Luna stopped to say she was glad to see Sora and gave him a kind look. Sora remembered that Luna had been the only one to show him kindness after he became a burden to the party. However, he also recalled overhearing the night he was expelled that Luna was the first to call him a parasite. He suspected that, like the other girls in the party, Luna was interested in Lars. Before leaving, Luna warned him that many people had disappeared in the forest and urged him to be careful. This reminder echoed what the thugs in town had told him. Luna went on to explain that Teddy's forest was vast enough to house an entire country, and was rumored to harbor mythical creatures in its deepest parts. The recent number of disappearances was alarmingly high, even among C-rank parties. Sora suspected that lower-ranked adventurers were being sent into the forest to cut costs, leading to the high number of missing persons. After giving her advice, Luna left. Sora pondered the mysterious occurrences in the forest, but realized that fewer adventurers gathering herbs could make his business thrive. He resumed foraging, enjoying the fragrance of the plants as if nothing had happened. He imagined opening his own shop and even considered brewing medicinal teas to sell. These hopeful thoughts made him grateful for being expelled from the guild, seeing it as an opportunity for a fresh start. Sora lay in the grass, feeling happier than ever. Suddenly, a strong wind blew, bringing with it an unsettling presence. Low-ranking monsters began to flee, and as Sora was about to do the same, he saw the Falcon Swords running frantically from something. Looking up, he froze. Sora's eyes widened in terror as he saw a colossal disaster-class monster known as the Lord of Flies approaching.